What's up, people? What's happening? Welcome to another episode of the Meathead on the Mic podcast. It's your boy, the returning champion, IFBB PRO Matt Butali. You know what time it is. Today, we're going to be breaking down another topic, okay? The topic of today's episode is, should you lose weight super fast and focusing on this, focus on the speed, or should you focus on, taking your time with it and getting down in a different way? We're going to be breaking down the specifics on both ends and talk about both the pros and cons on both ends. All right. So with that said, I'm going to remind you guys, you are more than welcome to ask questions before we actually dive into today's episode. And at the end, if I have time, I'll answer any of the questions that you guys and girls might have on Insta, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, wherever. All right. So with that said, and with that out the way, I'll be recording this episode in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Yo, what's good, meatheads? Welcome to another episode of the Meathead on the Mic podcast. It's your boy, the returning champion, IFBB Pro Matt Butali. And today we are going to be breaking down a topic that I know a lot of you guys and some of you girls have questions about when it comes to the speed when we're looking at the progress in terms of burning fat in your fat loss journey, muscle building journey, whatever you want to call it. All right. So we're going to be looking at pacing and what's most important, the pros and cons of both sides, going fast and going slow, and ultimately what I would recommend, in my professional opinion, to sort of do in terms of approaching your fat loss journey. All right. So the first thing I want to say is this is something that I frequently get DM'd a lot. People asking me, I've got to get ready for this wedding. I've got to get ready for this vacation. I've got to get ready for this significant event. And I have a deadline and I want to look good by this deadline, or at least fit into this, whatever article of clothing by this deadline. And what I notice is like a lot of people that do that end up repeating those habits day in, day out, or year in, year out, where it's like, okay, I'm going to get ready for vacation, cool. Vacations in 3 months. I'm going to try my hardest to get rid of 20, 30 pounds in 3 months or even more. And then they end up essentially what is crash dieting, right? Starving yourself so that you could make weight and appear, quote unquote, and you're going to understand why I'm saying appear a certain way when you go on vacation. So that's one side of the thing that I know a lot of you guys and girls either struggle with or are doing based off of the DMs that I'm getting, right? And that would be considered losing weight the fast way. Okay, and there's some good things about it and there's some bad things about it that we're going to both talk about right now. But before we get into that, let's talk about the slow way. Okay, the slow way is something that, we'll put it this way. When you look at those people that are losing weight the slow way, the body that they have, you would rather have. So what that looks like is, for example, all of those fitness influencers or the people that you really want to model your physique after, those people, they really take their time when it comes to losing a race, right? Unless they're competing, then which it's where, like, instead of them crash dieting for a couple of months, they have months and months and months, usually between 5 6 8 to diet to that weight class, and really crash dieting. They always do it slow. You ever wonder? Okay, so talk about all right, losing for vacation, this fucking wedding dress to fit into a suit, to whatever it is, so you can go on the beach, take off your shirt, not really have man boobs, right? So that's your whole sort of thing. You want to get it off quick because, you want it off quick. But here's the first thing you got to understand. Anything on your physique, anything on your body that you have now took years to accumulate, whether it's muscle or whether it's water and fat. The habits that you had in your life every single day leading up till today, like, your physique is the result of that habits. So if you can't necessarily just say, okay, well, I want to get ready for this vacation and then like undo 15, 20, 25 plus years of bad habits in like 3 months. Okay. Because what you're going to do is you're going to feed yourself to eat shit you don't really want to eat, underfeed yourself. You're starving yourself. You're going to throw off your hormones. Your digestive system's going to be out of whack. Your metabolism is going to be even more fucked. And if you thought you got sick, you're about to get a lot sicker. And if you thought you were weak, you're about to get a lot weaker. And the reason why is because when you crash diet, your body is depleting itself way beyond regular like standards. Okay. So you're depleting your micronutrients as you train and sweat hard, doing all that endless cardio. All right. You're not necessarily focusing on your macronutrients because all you really care about is calories, right? Calories in, calories out. That's how we lose weight technically. But if you only focus on the calories that you're burning, you're never, ever, ever going to build muscle in that process. And that's fucked, because if you don't build muscle in the process of burning fat and water, you get down to that beautiful weight that you wanted to, but it's not going to look the same. It's not going to look the way you envision, number one. And number two, you're going to feel weaker, look shittier. Like you're going to look tired as fuck. You're going to feel tired as fuck. You're not going to feel good at all when you get to that super light weight. And it's not that your body isn't capable of maintaining that light weight. It's more of the approach to get there wasn't ideal because you could have approached it in a way where you're losing weight, but you're building muscle and are at least, if not retaining muscle, so that when you get down in the pocket and you're finally done cutting, you actually have a foundation. When I say foundation, I mean muscle. If we're talking about just the shape of the body, right? That's really going to give you what the image that you look for. But outside of that, let's like talk functionally speaking here. If you have retained or were able to add muscle in the process of your fat loss journey, what's going to happen is when you get down to that body weight that you work so hard to get to when you were slowly achieving it, you're going to be able to like maintain that physique a lot easier, if not without even any effort, really, because of the increased amount of muscle mass. And so, having an increased amount of muscle mass essentially allows you to just burn more fat, burn more calories in a rested state in compared to what you would otherwise be able to burn, weighing the same but with less muscle. So, body composition, that's basically the difference between, you know, losing weight quickly and losing weight slowly. You have more leverage, you have more power to take advantage of your physique, of your metabolism, of your digestion if you do it slower. Okay. If you cut weight slower, and not even just to make it so that you're progressing slower, okay, because if you like that's fine, but if you also don't focus on your protein, like you're equally fucked, right? So there's an approach that you should have while you are cutting slowly that will help you. And I just laid it out here. And this is episode number 171 of Meathead on the Mic podcast. And I talk about it in so many fucking episodes, but I will bring it up today because you're listening to it right now. So let's look at the pros and cons just right down the middle. Cutting. If you cut quickly, the best thing that's going to happen is that you're going to feel good. You're going to look at the scale. You're going to be like, oh, fuck, like I crushed it 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, whatever it was. I lost so much fucking weight so quickly. Yay, me. Like that's, to your own right. It's definitely hard work either way, but that's probably the most you're going to get out of it. All of the fucking cons come after that. And there are way more cons than pros when it comes to losing weight quickly. So I'm not going to waste time on the cons. I already explained some of them. Let's talk about doing it slowly, doing it the correct way, doing it the way that I, a natural IFBB pro, does it with my best clients as well. The slow way. And when I say slow, how slow are we really talking here? Like when I say slow, I mean anything in between 1 to 3 pounds. 1 pound would be really slow to lose per week. Okay. But 1 to 3 pounds, you're in a safe zone if you're losing that much every single week. If you're losing more than 3 pounds a week, you might want to dial it back. Okay. Maybe you are, we'll say, predisposed to being able to burning that much or dropping that much fat and water that early, which does happen for a lot of people. I do have some clients that, are really, really obese. And when they do join at the very beginning, the first week, they're losing like 11 fucking pounds. And it's like not actually 11 pounds of fat and water, but more so fat, water, and stool. Because believe it or not, and this is fucking disgusting. And if you're listening to this and this is you, be aware. But those people, especially those dudes that I love talking to. Yeah, you listening to this right now. If you've got a super big gut, when I say big gut, I mean it's like you look mildly pregnant and you got tits that we could milk. That gut, first of all, has got a shit ton, and that's pun intended, a shit ton of fecal matter inside it that you will excrete amongst fixing your metabolism and eating a little bit cleaner for the first 3 to 4 weeks, if not a little bit longer. So I've noticed, and this is like a common pattern, with the super obese men that do join the Natural Nomad Academy, within the first 4 weeks to 6 weeks, they could experience, at least in 1 or 2 weeks, losing at least more than 10 pounds in that same week. And how does that happen? Is that like some form of like accelerated fat loss? No, it's the fact that part of what makes that gut so like rotund and stiff is the fact that not only is there adipose tissue that is fat that is covering your stomach that makes it large. Not only does bloating affect you, but there's also backed up shit, for the lack of a better term, in your intestines that you will excrete once your metabolism and your digestive or your gut health improves when you start to select better foods that are less processed with less seed oils and less preservatives. And better yet, you also do some cardio and workout as well. Okay, but let's talk about the more common case and not really about the obese people right now. And I only mentioned it because I know that a lot of you will be listening, so that's still information you need. But when we're losing weight slowly, we're focusing on doing it in between 1 to 3 pounds a week, right? You want to just have a steady decline of 1 to 3 pounds per week while also focusing on getting the required amount of protein for the day. All right. And you guys are going to hear me fucking scream this shit to you until my face turns blue. 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight every single day. Shut the fuck up. Get it done. Let that happen. Train as hard as possible on a consistent basis while mixing in cardio so that your body can burn more calories and you can utilize the fuel that you're putting into it, the healthy fuel that is, and you'll watch yourself not only burn fat, not only drop water, not only reduce the inches around the waist, not only change the way the physique looks, but you'll be able to increase your metabolism. Okay, which means that when you get leaner and you look better, now you can actually eat more and get even better, right? And when I say eat more, it doesn't mean go eat fucking McDonald's and all that shit. It means like you get to increase the amount of calories that you eat because you're burning a lot more calories because you have more muscle on your physique, which alters your composition in a good way, right? Because the more muscle tissue that you have, the higher your basal metabolic rate, BMR, is. And if we can understand that, then that should be the focal point when it comes to losing weight. Not it's almost kind of backwards, right? Because like when you're losing weight, you're thinking of just getting smaller, watching the numbers decrease, right? But the real approach I need you to have here is like when you are losing weight, I want you to be focusing on the muscle increase, the strength increase that you have in the gym, or even the endurance increase if you're able to push yourself that hard. And with those things increasing, while you have a calorie deficit that is also helping you decrease the amount of fat that you have in your body, and you hyper accelerate both of them and focus on losing between 1 to 3 pounds per week and not being in an extreme deficit by any means, that's literally the recipe for success. Like that's just how you're gonna win after you burn all the 15, 20, 30, 40 fucking pounds of fat. Because not only will you just drop it over a respectable period of time that your body can actually adapt to, but you could keep it off. And if not improve past that point a lot easier than it even took you to get there because you have more muscle in your physique. And muscle is a lot more calorically expensive than fat. Okay, what does that mean? That means in order to have muscle on your physique, or at least when we're comparing muscle and fat to your like on your physique, how they both operate, it takes more energy for your body to just have muscle on its physique than in comparison to fat. So if you just focused on growing muscle, not even being in a heavy deficit, if you just wanted to like eat at maintenance calories and really make a fucking emphasis on putting on muscle, and you trained that way and you got your protein in, right? And you did your cardio just for the extra bit of caloric expenditure and you were building muscle, technically speaking, in theory and in practice, you would be able to lose all that, not all of it, but lose weight, okay, without even eating less. Like you're not even eating way less. You're just training super hard. You're doing your cardio, getting your protein in. And because you are growing muscle and the amount of muscle is increasing and your BMR is increasing, your body's ability or capability to utilize the extra stores of energy, which in this case would be fat, would increase because you have more muscle and muscle is more calorically expensive. And because of that, your body is going to be working more optimally to get rid of fat, even without being in a heavy deficit. Okay. Would I recommend doing that? No, because that would be really slow. Really, really, really slow. Like it would take you forever to see all the progress that you want. So I would still recommend being in a deficit, but I'm going as far as to say that even if you are at maintenance level calories and you were to apply what I'm saying, it would still work because the more muscle you have, the higher your BMR, and the higher your BMR, not only the easier is it to lose weight in terms of burning fat and dropping water weight, but the easier it is to keep it off permanently. All right. So, last but not least, like let's just wrap it up here. Should you focus on losing weight quick or should you focus on losing weight slow? My takeaway with this entire episode and your takeaway should be focus on losing it slow, and slow being 1 to 3 pounds per week. Okay. We can call it even 2 pounds per week, right? Anything like we'll say just under 10 pounds a month, but you're focusing on getting your protein in, you're training super intentionally, time under tension, you're making sure you feel the reps, you can control the weight, you're not doing movements that don't work for you, so on and so forth. You're getting your cardio in, keeping your heart rate elevated so that you can burn those extra calories, and also get the boosted effects of having better vascularity, cardiovascular health, and of course, with better vascularity, you can shuttle more oxygen into the muscles, and that's amazing because then you get more reps, so on and so forth, endurance, blah blah blah, the whole nine. Okay, like that should your takeaway from today's episode should be that. All right, focus on losing it 2 pounds per week, 1 pound per week, 3 pounds per week. Don't go too fast, otherwise you're going to deplete yourself too hard, and you risk cannibalizing muscle. Okay. Stay in that sweet spot and monitor yourself. Take your pictures, do your measurements, make sure you're making the progress that you want to make. Okay. And if things aren't working, go back to the drawing board, tweak them up, apply them, fix them, apply them, let it go. Keep working. But if that's something that's too fucking hard for you, or if that's something that you just don't feel like you want to do, there is YouTube, there is Google, there is Instagram. There are so many free resources there's this podcast, like there's other podcasts, like there's so many free resources you could use to apply to your fitness journey that would help accelerate it. And if even that's too much for you to ask from your own self, then it's time that you outsource it and you reach out for help. You either get an accountability buddy, maybe you have a friend at the gym that's like fucking shredded, so they might be able to help you. Ask them, train with them, have them spot you, have them show you how to do the reps and stuff like that. Or you can hire the help and have a professional like myself in the corner doing this for you and with you to teach you how to continue to do it so that you don't need me forever. All right. So, with that said, just to say it one more time, should you lose weight fast, do a crash diet to get ready for that vacation, get ready for that wedding, to fit into the suit, to fit into the dress? Fuck no. Why? Because you're going to feel good in that second. You're going to undo all that progress in about a week, and it's going to feel even worse than starting in the first place. And it's going to give you a horrible relationship with the gym and food as well. Because then you're just going to be like, well, I'm going to make progress, but as soon as I make progress, I'm going to lose it all. And if that's your mindset, then it'll be hard to just get into the gym in the first place. Right? So just keep that in mind. Pay attention. Rewind this episode if you fucking have to, but do not ever, for the life of you, crash diet. It's the worst, one of the worst things you can do for yourself. Throw off your hormones, throw off your digestive system. It would make your body perform worse than if you were to weigh more with more fat. So do not do it. Do not crash diet. I will never recommend it. If you know you're going to be going on a vacation, if you know you're going to be going to a wedding, you should get prepped or start preparing if you have a deadline at least 6 to 8 months in advance. And that's, to the general population. If you're somewhat lean, if you already kind of have a six pack or at least 10, 15 pounds away from it, you can get away, honestly, with just getting ready for a month, depending on what your situation is, 3 months to a month. But if you do not have a six pack or anything close to it, and you're fat, and again, I'm not saying that to diss you, but it's like, come on, like, let's be real here. We're adults. And that's you. 6 to 8 months, don't leave yourself up. Even cheat yourself. Even I could just 4 months. No, 6 to 8 months, do it the right way, kind of slow, but you will be able to build muscle overall that you'll be able to keep, which will also help you keep progress. So go figure. Cut really hard for 1 month, lose 20 pounds, okay, and then gain back next month, or spend 6 months, 8 months losing 50 pounds that will never come back. You tell me. And also putting muscle in the process, getting stronger, having a better metabolism, having improved cardio. It's the whole trifecta. It's what you want. Okay. And I'm telling you that with experience. Yes, you're looking at me like, oh, this guy's like, he's only done the slow method. Like, he's just too smart to do the stupid thing. He's never had to rush to get ready for a wedding or like for a vacation. Bro, let me fucking tell you, I've done the crash diet before. Probably harder than you. I've lost 30 pounds in 3 weeks once. Okay. And I had to bust my ass for it. Why? Well, it was a really fucked up time during COVID. It's not like I wanted to do this, but I was working with a coach at the time, and we wanted to qualify for classic physique. By that time, during that time, I wasn't a professional bodybuilder. I was only an amateur. And what happened was COVID was there, so shows were on and off. And essentially, we didn't really know if that show was going to be happening, and I sort of stayed within shooting range, and then I sort of gave it up, and I'm like, I'll just get into the off season, put on some size, and I'll focus on competing the next year. But then boom, like, was it 5 weeks before the show happened, the promoter was like, the show's going to be happening. I'm like, fuck, it's either just continue going to my off season, or I have to lose 30 pounds to make weight for this category in like about 3 weeks, right? So the news came out 2 weeks before. Took literally 1.5 weeks to decide, and then when I decided, boom, 3 weeks, 30 pounds, or it was like 29 pounds or some shit like that. 29 pounds in 28 days or something. Not even 28 days. It was like 22 days, 29 pounds in 22 days or something like that. In 2020, I made weight and I won my class at the show, right? Won my division. And, I felt like shit. I actually looked worse at that show, and I was heavier than when I went to nationals and I turned pro and I was lighter. Why? Because the amount of muscle tissue that I had and the amount of muscle tissue that I lost in the process of cutting so quickly, which, if you are accelerating past, 3 pounds per week, you run the risk of, even if you do get the protein in, right? Which is why it's very important to keep the pace. Okay, so I'm giving you experience on both sides of the stick here, both with the clients that I've worked with that have crash dieted and come to me for help, right? And myself, who's crash dieted to get ready for a show and realize how fucking shit it is compared to doing it the right way, which is slower, right? Which is why I usually have, whenever I'm getting prepped for a show, it takes usually about like 6 to 5 months for me to nail it, right? And 4 months if I'm already super, 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 super duper lean, right? And that's essentially what this is, right? To wrap it up, never, ever, ever crash diet. I don't give a fuck if you have to make weight for your wife's or your friend's wedding or whatever the fuck it is, or to fit into a suit or to go on vacation. Never do it, because you will regret it way harder than if you were to take your time, build the muscle in the process, and keep the progress after that process. And if not that, then even improve further. Make sense? All right, people. That's it. That's all. I hope I was able to deliver a valuable experience to you guys and girls today. Thank you so much for your precious time and attention. Share this episode out to a friend if you really think they need to hear this. If you think someone is addicted to crash dieting and they need help, give them this episode. This info is 100% free. If you're one of the people listening to this and you crash diet yourself, or you're thinking about crash dieting, or you have a deadline, like a vacation, like a wedding, or anything like that that you want to attend, and it's at least in proximity of 6 to 8 months from now, you should be dieting. And if you're not, then you should be dieting. And there's no excuse. Okay. But if you don't know how to, reach out to a friend, go on YouTube, go on Google. Literally, you have friends that are shredded, ask them. And if they don't give a shit and they're not replying to you, come to me. All right. I'm a professional. I do this for a living. So you can definitely reach out to me and ask, and I'll see if you'd be a good fit at the Natural Nomad Academy. But let's embrace our inner meathead together. All right. It's been nice chatting. Hope you like what today's topic was about. IFBB PRO Matt Buchale signing out. Boom. All right, bro. Podcast is rolling. Hey, what's good, Jimmy? I see you, bro, on YouTube. It's been a bit. I'm gonna look at some of the comments here. Let's see what's good. Let's see what is good. Shout out to everybody. My girl's in here. Shout out to my girl. Tyson, what's good? Jason, what's up? I'm gonna message you, Jake and Jason. I heard about the Vidro. I'll be there, 100,000%. I'll be there. I'll probably bring my twin brother. Rest in peace, Mr. Hopper, man. That's so fucked. I'm not gonna even talk about it on the air here. Lucas, what's good? Hey, Sathian, what's up? Hey, Melinda, what's good? Gorilla Dad, what's up? Neil, what's good? Marcus, thanks for joining. Jack Harding, what's up? Hey, what's good, Sharon? I see you. Jack Harding says, is it easier to stay lean if you dieted down slower? Absolutely. That is like the core point of today's podcast episode. It's if you really want to not only put on muscle, if you really not only want to keep the progress that you've earned in your fat loss journey, so that means like losing 30 pounds and it actually stays off. Like if you actually want that, then dieting slower and focusing on adding cardio and focusing on training really intense to recruit muscle fibers and keep your body in the most optimal state for protein, muscle protein synthesis, right? By making sure you get your 1 gram of protein per pound a day at least. That's the way to do it. 1 to 3 pounds per week in terms of how much you'll be losing weight or how much weight you'll be losing, and then getting your protein in abiding by your caloric requirements, keeping that cardio factored in, training super intentionally, and that's the recipe there, bro. That's a great question there, Jack Harding. Asil, what's good, brother? Ranveer, what's up? GDS, yeah, I see you. I see you, Mormon. Congratulations again, man. I see you, bro. All right, homies. You know what it is. I'm gonna look at TikTok real quick, and then I'm gonna teleport. We're gonna see what we got here. Hug and Happy says all this gym shit, and I'd still KO you, boy. Don't play with me. I love TikTok. It's such a wonderful place. Everybody's so lovely and happy there, and nobody's unserious at all. Real quick, how to overcome the stagnation. I'm not sure which stagnation you are referring to, but I'll see if I can just piece that together and make this make sense. So stagnation in terms of like plateau, there are many variables, but it's sort and you that's a good question, honestly. I'm a little bit perplexed. So plateaus, it depends on what kind of plateau you have. Like, do you have a strength plateau where you're not able to lift more, you want to get stronger, or do you have a plateau within your progress, like how much fat you're losing or the lack thereof? Like, I really want to ask you the I guess the question to that question, to figure out how I'm going to answer what type of plateau you have and how to sort of overcome that stagnation. But that's a good question, but I cannot answer you right now. I think I need a little bit more information to answer that. Bella underscore babe 3, what's good? Says, what if I always had a high metabolism and I've been slim my whole life? Now things have slowed. So, okay, that's a really good question. Let me tell you one thing. At the very least, I grew up fucking skinny. Okay, so high metabolism, that's like me right here. That's 100% my identity. Um, and so when I look at this, so first of all, my question to you, Bella, is how would you even know if your metabolism is slowed? Are you basing this off of what you feel like? You've put on more weight over the years, so you think your metabolism is slowed down? Or have you actually gone to the doctors and done your testing to see your metabolic reports both back then and now to compare and see that your metabolism has slowed down? That's the first thing. And I'm asking you that not to be an asshole, but because it's like nobody ever fucking does that. And because nobody does that, nobody knows really what their body's doing. And they assume that because I'm getting more fat or, you know, because it's harder to lose weight, that my metabolism is slower. Well, it's not always the case. There are other variables, and especially if you don't have the data to back it up, to like, going to the doctor and like, getting your metabolic testing done to see, what foods you might be allergic to, what you're not, and just overall your gut health and like what your body sort of is like in terms of how it performs and functions. Like, it's very, very, very inaccurate to say that you have either a high or low, slow metabolism. Okay. So, discounting that though, like let's assume that you did your doctor stuff and like, yes, high metabolism, now it's a slow metabolism. There are other variables. You can attack this so many ways. You can either train harder and burn more calories, okay? Because if you're burning more calories, then your metabolism is gonna, of course, increase, right? Or you can do both, burn more calories with like excess cardio, not excess, but just to do cardio. And then also have your nutrients, right? Your calories match you as well, so that you're both in a deficit. You're in a deficit and you are also doing cardio, right? Those two things, if you pair them, will definitely speed up your metabolism. Or you can just focus solely on the amount of calories that you are taking in, because most people that claim to have a high or slow, or fast or slow metabolism don't even measure their food. So like a lot of this, and this is me, I'm guilty for this when I was a kid or when I was younger at least. It was like what I would do is I'd be like, oh, I'm really eating here, man. Like I'm fucking putting food down the hatch and I'm just not growing. I wonder what's going on. Like my metabolism is too fast, so I can't grow. I have horrible genetics, is what I thought. But the idea behind that, although it felt real, it wasn't real. Because the moment I started to use a food scale and I actually started to like calculate how much I'm actually eating, I realized I wasn't even fucking eating anything. No wonder I wasn't growing. Okay, so reality check. If you don't own a food scale, get one, use it, and you'll understand that you do not eat as much as you think you do. That's number one. And number two, if you think you have a high metabolism or a fast metabolism or slow metabolism, don't just think that. Go out and get the fucking test to confirm it, because that's super important. That will let you know, first of all, whether or not you actually do or don't have that, if there are other variables or precursors that are keeping you like in a position where you can't progress because you're predisposed to something either genetically or like whatever it is, like to just do testing to have on paper that this is what this is. And like none of this is self-diagnosis. None of this is like I think, but it's all I know. Because once you know, you can apply information, you can apply knowledge to it, and then see how that works, and then rinse and repeat until you find the magic formula. It's not just going to work off rip because you know 1 + 1 = 2. Like there's also that carry over the one that you didn't fucking see, long division, whatever. But that's what I'm talking about. Just be very, very vigilant with your very, very vigilant with your testing before you start to self-diagnose yourself with like metabolism or thyroid or this, that, the other thing. Like just get your tests first, make sure that is accurate, and then you can sort of reverse engineer from there to make sure that you're getting the results that you want to get in your fitness journey. But that is a really fucking good question though, Bella Babe. I appreciate you. I really love that question. Homie says, love God as he loves you. Yeah. Lindy says, I like your little braid on the right side there. I appreciate you. It's actually on the left side, but I think the mirror thing is doing the thing here, but doesn't matter. Thank you. I appreciate it. Swag. Logan, thanks for joining. All right, people. That is it. That is all. We'll be back again. You already know we're going to have another discussion in the week. We're going to help you talk about fat, muscle, all that stuff. Mindset, actually, which I haven't done in a while. Honestly, there was like, I was on a rain. I think it was like, I don't know, for like a month or like a month and a half, everything was just fucking mindset. Cause like everyone was just like, hey man, I'm just not motivated. I'm not motivated. I'm not motivated. I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna go on a run here. And then now people are telling me, hey, I don't know this. So like, let me just tell you this. But anyway, whatever you guys want, you can request whatever podcast episode titles you'd like for me to talk about. But outside of that, peace, love, and protein, you know what it is. I'm signing out. We'll chat soon. Later.